Hey, what is up, lovelies? It is Lynn the Gacha Goblin, and let's talk about the strongest weapon that a gacha game has over its community, and that is FOMO. So I was actually scrolling through r/gacha gaming, which very shocking. I don't usually do that, but I saw a post here that kind of intrigued me. It was, how do I minimize FOMO? And I was thinking to myself, that is actually an excellent question, especially in terms of love in deep space. So we're going to read this article, and then we're going to discuss my experience with FOMO in Love and Deep Space and how I've kind of combated it since I haven't been pulling right when the banner drops. So let's talk about this, and let's go through everything. Okay, so this was posted by Gabe Overthinks. So this is my first post here, and the only gacha game I play is Wuwa. Played more in the past, but now just Wuwa. I had been thinking of quitting the game and gachas entirely, but couldn't figure out why. Maybe I was just burnt out on another gacha game and needed a break. After a few days of thinking about it, I believe it's FOMO. FOMO makes you play at the game's pace and not your own, at least for me. This is so true. This is 100% true. FOMO truly pushes you to play at the game's pace, at how fast the company wants you to play the game, and doesn't let you acclimatize to your own pattern, and that is where you get lost, and that's where you spend a lot of money. So let's continue on. Say you don't feel like playing, but there's a limited time event going on and you want the rewards from it. Could be a weapon, some pulls, whatever. You force yourself to play. Say you just got a character and don't really feel like building that character right now. Well, there's stamina and you only get so much a day, and if you miss that day, you miss building the character just a bit, or maybe getting a good gear roll. RNG is also something I don't like. RNG is also something I don't like quite much. Fine with a little bit, but Wu's ecosystem is still an insane amount. You force yourself to play. Say you don't feel like playing one day, but you know a new character you want is coming soon and you need pulls. You force yourself to play. When you play, of course, it's all very monotonous tasks that can easily get repetitive, and I'm fine with grinding games, but at my own pace. I'm a free to play, so I gotta work for those pulls, but basically what I'm saying is that the gameplay loop gachas keep you in. I don't think I'm enjoying constantly engaging with it, but I can't stop due to FOMO. I know these games are meant to be super casual in the first place, so I'm not sure why or how I get it in my head about this from time to time, but I believe the FOMO gachas give you is the root cause of it. How can I minimize this FOMO and have a more healthy relationship with gachas? Or should I just quit gachas entirely? The cycle is literally start a new gacha, has fun the first few weeks, maybe months if it's that good, gets the FOMO from limited time events, opportunities for premium currency, limited time character, and the weapon banners, etc. Gets burnt out. This has happened with every gacha I played, so I'm starting to think the genre is not for me. So this is actually a very interesting little conversation here, and they actually bring up a lot of good points. So primarily the fact is, gacha games are meant to be casual games, right? You're supposed to log in 5 minutes a day, log back out, and with events like our events in Love and Deep Space, it's not really that time consuming. If you log in every single day and you do your dailies and then do the little event on the side, it'll take you a max of 30 minutes if you're really slow or if you have a really bad connection. But if you keep doing that day to day and you're not the kind of person who likes to log in every single day, it can really truly burn you out. I was actually like that when I first started playing Genshin Impact. At first, I had a lot of fun. It was really fun to do all of the little daily tasks and whatever and earn my little pulls, because I was free to play for quite some time in that game. And for every banner that I wanted to pull on, I always got the character I wanted. and it was really crazy. I had pretty darn good luck in Genshin Impact. But in terms of, grinding every single day, it got to a point where I didn't want to do my dailies. It took too long to do the dailies. It took too long to travel from one side to another side of the map and whatnot and get everything done. And that is actually why I don't really play Wuthering Waves as religiously as some other people do, because I am burnt out on open world gacha games. That being said, the reason why I still like playing Honkai Star Rail and Love and Deepspace is because everything is very compact. Everything is just there within a few clicks of the button. I don't need to traverse mountains or fly through the sky. I can just click a little button here, do a little daily task, spam button, and I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of Love and Deepspace, when it comes to the grind for that game, it's not that bad. It truly isn't that bad. Now, there is the daily grind, and then there's the weekly grind, and then of course there's the monthly grind, and each of those are very different. So the daily grind, of course, is going into the bounty hunts, getting your bounty hunts, collecting your stamina from your friends, interacting with him in the cafe. I keep it to a very bare minimum, bare bones kind of daily task grind, because I don't want to get burnt out. Now, when you're talking about the weekly grind, some people like to fill out the entire, that weekly tab underneath all of your tasks. Some people do that. And, it's highly recommended that you do that because you get 150, I think, or 130 diamonds if you complete the weekly tasks. But truthfully, I could not be bothered. I could not be bothered doing all of the kitty cards, doing the Deepspace trials, doing the, what was the other one? The plushies, like the crane. I cannot be bothered to do any of that because, one, I'm not a battle girly, so the Deepspace trials is like my last resort in getting diamonds. Also, the Senior Hunter contest, my last resort in getting diamonds. Will I try to do it? Yes, but definitely 100% on auto mode. I'm not going to actually, get sweaty trying to defeat wanderers. That's not how I find things fun. If I have like a new companion character, or if I have a new myth card or something like that, then I'll do it manually because I want to experience the whole like fighting with the new character and all that stuff. But it gets to a point where I get bored of that, and if I just want to farm for the diamonds, I set it on auto and I go do some other chores. Like, I don't know, I'll do my makeup or something like that. Like, it truly is like a set on auto, leave it to the side, let it do its own thing. If I fail, I fail. If I pass, I pass, So that is how I approach the weekly, I don't want to say weekly dailies, the weeklies. And then you have like the monthlies, like the Abyssal Chaos and all of those things. The Abyssal Chaos, I could give a rat's ass about that because there is truthfully, honestly, for me, no point in doing that thing. So I don't touch it. I do not touch that, and therefore I don't get burnt out. So there is that, and then there's just like the daily check-in and all of that stuff. I do the daily check-in. There's also the RM pass that I log in so that way I can claim some diamonds. I also purchase the weekly pass. I let that be known to everyone. That is also incredibly helpful in terms of me saving up for future banners and whatnot. But my biggest FOMO thing is when it comes to banners. Now, we all know that in Love and Deepspace, the banners are very quick to rotate, and we don't have an official roadmap to know what's going to come out. So my biggest thing that has super helped me, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, don't pull on the day that the banner is released. Now, I know for people who are, hesitant in seeing spoilers online or all of those things, I have come to terms in realizing that I need to be okay with spoilers because I am also saving money. I would rather be spoiled on something, spoiled on an experience or something, or just like graphics or something like that, as opposed to like saving $100 on a freaking gacha game, because what's more important to me is that I have money in my pocket as opposed to experiencing a card that I could just technically experience on YouTube, right? So that is my mindset in terms of like the FOMO aspect of the banners. FOMO aspect in terms of, say, limited events. Now, that is also interesting. It depends. Sometimes I like to wait a few days and then I'll log in, get as much done as I can, stop. Right before the event ends, I'll log in again, finish the entire thing, and then that's it. That's how I deal with the FOMO there. I don't actually do it day by day by day. That's not how I actually play in any of my gacha games. I don't do that because I have other things that I prioritize, right? And gacha games are supposed to be casual. So that is how I function. That's how I combat FOMO. In terms of like also kind of communicating with the community and all of these things, I like talking about how to make the community better and all of those things. I don't actually talk about the cards or the experiences that I have in the memories because I like keeping my experiences kind of private, honestly. That's why I stopped doing all of my like playthroughs of the different memories. It's because I like lying down in my bed, kind of like curled up, and just like going through the story like I'm reading a book. And that's genuinely why I don't do any of the reactions anymore on my YouTube channel. I'm sorry if you guys enjoyed that before, but if there happens to be a card that you guys really want me to react to on while I record, then maybe if you guys tell me, but otherwise I'm gonna do my default, and my default is curling up in bed, reading the visual novel like a book. So that is my personal experience, my personal preference. And when it comes to, talking about the cards online, I don't really do that, even with you guys listening to this video right now. I think you would know that I don't really talk about the cards. I just talk about the community, what we can do better in the game, the things that are upcoming, some news covering Love and Deepspace, anything interesting that's happening in the community, posts or whatever. Like, that is the fun part that I like conversing in, and I also find that it's comforting for other people also who are trying to avoid spoilers. So, my channel is supposedly meant for us to like hang out together, talk about some of the stuff that's happening in the community, and kind of stay away from spoilers and all that shenanigans. If you want to experience the cards, you can 100% go to different YouTube channels right here and watch all of those cards yourselves. So that is how I combat FOMO. In terms of pulling on deciding on what cards to pull for, that's a little tricky. Last year it was actually much easier for me to skip banners because I was not in the very first few months that I was playing this game, I was free to play, and I would skip a few of the banners. I skipped Xavier's banners and Raphael's banners and pulled on Zane's banners because I was a Zane stan when I first started playing Love and Deepspace, and now I just kind of pull on every banner, which is kind of crazy. And it's not honestly sustainable, so I have to find a way to be sustainable in pulling for my characters. And that has been me waiting until the last few days to pull, and now I'm kind of debating whether or not I should get the new myth cards or not. I want them, but I don't know if I need them. And there's also the fact that, there are still going to be solo cards. Do I want the solo cards? Does having 100% cards for Silas and Caleb really matter to me that much? All of those things I feel like I need to discuss with myself. Logically speaking, having 100% doesn't really matter in the long run, because if we're going to have an Oracle of the Stars, if we're going to have an event like that where there is no guaranteed pity or whatnot, that whole thing is going to change completely. You know what I'm saying? the whole 100% you have this card, 100% you have all of Caleb's cards, that is definitely 100% going to change. And in the time that we might have another love interest added into the game, I don't wanna, kind of depend on that all the time, because I'm gonna go broke, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta be smart about playing gacha games, because Love and Deepspace is not my only gacha game that I play. It is the only gacha game that I spend the most money in, but I don't want to do that, especially if there's another competitor coming out down the line, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to be smart about everything. I kind of want to try to be smart about everything. But that's where I stand, and that's how I try to combat FOMO now that I'm making content about it and trying to be more aware of the effects of what gacha games and gambling can actually be, and also letting you guys be aware of all of that stuff too. So that is how I feel. Let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below. And yeah, that is pretty much it. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I cover Love in Deepspace and gacha games in general, apparently. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching. I am Lynn, the Gacha Goblin, and I will see you lovelies in the next video. Bye-bye now.